We came so far from dreams. The path was hard for me. They thought we fall, you see. Well, look at us now, look at us now. We make it hot when we on the scene, yeah, that's 1,000 degrees. I got a grind for me and my team, yeah, you know we gon' eat. You see the crowds when we come around, you know that I roll with some kings. We sit it down, I don't hear a sound, but I ask you who better than we. Tell me who better than we. We soaring to places you never could reach. When we walk in that spot, don't hear none of you speak. Shh, do you want peace or the peace? A king about to put you to sleep. Listen, my team is elite. You not even qualified to compete. He starving, he barely can eat. I guess that's why he always itching for beef. So I put him on ice and I told him to chill. Close your mouth if you can't pay for the meal. Making statements that you know you don't mean. Nice guy trying to act like he mean. Keep it a buck, keep it a bean. Attitudes will put you dudes in the beam. Izuku, he don't live in reality. Shake back off, become a fatality. Yeah, how you gon' hate when you mirror us? He think he a star, he ain't serious. X him out, we not on the same frequency. If you broke, you ain't hearing us. Work the screw, anime, that's how I feel, period. We winning, that's making them furious. We make it high when we on the scene, yeah, that's 1,000 degrees. I got a grind for me and my team, yeah, you know we gon' eat. You see the crowds when we come around, you know that I roll with some kings. We sit it down, I don't hear a sound, but I ask you who better than we.
Yo, what it do, guys? It is your boy, Leo Mookie here, back with you with another new part of What If Izuku Could Become Vanguard. This is part 1, and last part was part 0, where I went on that at the beginning on how Izuku awakened his quirk that is connected to Cardfight Vanguard, as it's basically a hyper-evolved quirk tied to that of both emitter, transformable, and mutant type quirks, actually. Not only that, he's even able to take on that of the characteristics and personality of the card he summons as well, while still being himself. It's just that his personality changes a bit than from that of his own identity. Plus, he even starts to make a name for himself in that of Vanguard as well, from winning from card shop tournaments to tournaments over and over again, becoming well known in Tokyo as the King of Paladins, due to his mastery in that of both Royal Paladins, Shadow Paladins, and Gold Paladins, making him somewhat of a prodigy in the card game. So, with all that said, let's get into this, shall we, guys? A year and a half has now passed since Izuku has become synonymous in the world of Cardfight Vanguard. Since then, Vanguard is still to this day popular to the very end. Vanguard is so popular, maybe not as popular as being a pro hero, which is the career that almost everybody seeks out, but if you want to at least gain some notoriety around the world in one way or another, then Vanguard is up your alley. It's one of the easiest card games to get into. It's welcoming as well, and there's not really a lot of people that bug you from time to time. Sure, there's some bad apples here and there in the card game. Some like to extort players, steal cards, and even like to, blackmail players too, but they're basically in the small minority, and most people don't even bother dealing with them. But with only that little, black mark, Vanguard is still iconic all across the world. And even to this day, one boy would basically strive to make Vanguard basically become synonymous in the world of pros, or rather, in the world of being a true hero. Currently at that of Aldera Junior High, a junior high school that's basically pretty damn low in the rankings of middle schools, to be honest. It's basically a mediocre junior high prep school that barely has anything synonymous with its name. Hell, the only thing that makes it somewhat, noticeable is that it has a Vanguard club that takes place in multiple tournaments, card shop tournaments all across Japan, all across Tokyo, actually, given that the city Masafu is one of the Tokyo district cities. But since the school was so low on budget and financing, it doesn't even bother, allowing its students to take part in that of regional tournaments or national tournaments, which is one bummer, to be honest, because it's kind of a waste for one student of this school. currently in that of a somewhat small classroom that has tons of Vanguard memorabilia, from that of figurines to that of cards, cubbies for that of people to put their bags, and also a couch and a few chairs on the side as well, with the couch basically in front of the window. Within, standing in the center of the club room, being that of a playmat, with two people currently are card fighting, while another being that of a girl that looks way too old to be that of a junior high student, to be honest, is basically on that of her phone, looking somewhat bored out of her mind, while then one of the other fighters currently fighting, being that of a girl with that of pink hair and wearing glasses, as that of her opponent, spiky long black hair with a somewhat intense look, is also playing, as it looks like the match is about to come to a conclusion, as the long black-haired guy couldn't help but basically smirk, saying, "I generation stride," as then the pink-haired girl saying, "What, seriously, again?" As the black-haired boy, not even face, saying, "Mask of demonic frenzy, Ericris," as that of the young man continues to explain and bring out that of his strategy for that of hit to take down that of the girl. Within, somebody basically walking up to that of the door to the club room. Within, him saying, "Ericris, attack the Vanguard! Drive check! First check, second check, front trigger. All power goes to Mask of Demonic Frenzy. Third check, critical trigger." Within, the girl couldn't help but wince, realizing, "Oh man, I'm so screwed now. My guard isn't enough." As then saying, "All effects go to the Vanguard," and it's done. With that, the match finally comes to an end, as the pink-haired girl with the glasses couldn't help but slump down to the ground, saying, "And I worked so hard." Within, the black-haired boy saying, "Not hard enough, it seems. Seriously, that guard was so damn flimsy. Did you really think that was going to work?" Within, she's saying, "I've been working hard though." As then the door slides open, as then noticing that a familiar messy green mop of hair with with big emerald green eyes, as this being Izuku in that of his junior high uniform. Within, Izuku basically eyes winding, saying, "Oh, did you guys just finish up just sparring a little while? I guess I should have came earlier than that." Within, soon, the pink-haired girl who heard that of Izuku's voice, she couldn't help but have her eyes and that of joy instead of like that of the bored, lifeless eyes of before, saying, "Ah, Izuku, you're here," as she puts her phone down onto the couch. Within, the spiky black-haired boy saying, "Yo, Midoriya, I'm guessing you got holed up again?" Within, soon, Izuku can up and say, "Yeah, you know it, Katakari. Let me guess, it has to do with a certain ashen blonde." Red eyes, saying, "You know, definitely." As the black-haired boy saying, "I'm guessing Bakugo found out about you going to UA, am I right?" Within, saying, "Most definitely." Within, soon, the pink-haired girl getting out, standing back up, basically dusting off that of her school uniform skirt, before saying, "Bakugo never changes. Seriously, it's like he thinks he has to be the only one from this school to go into UA." Within, saying, "He'd probably be pissed even more knowing that I plan on applying too." "Yeah, but unlike you, Katakari, that plans on going into UA's, Vanguard course, I plan on basically applying for only the hero course." Within, soon, the girl that was basically on the couch that stands up and heading to Izuku, as she has that of violent purple hair that's basically all curly, and her school uniform does not hide away that of her curves, showing that puberty hit her like a truck, like a certain spiky-haired, ponytailed ravenette. Later on, as her eye color is that of a bright pink, as she also having that of pink lip gloss on her as well. Within, she's saying, "Oh, Izuku, why do you deal with that brat? As she soon pushes that of the guy known as Katakari out of the way, but then saying, "The hell is wrong with you, you bitch?" With Izuku couldn't help but sweat drop at that of the girl's antics to one of his, teammates and club members, saying, "You kill me." With then she's saying, it's Nene to you. I only joined the club because of you being here after all." Then, soon, Katakuri couldn't help but stand back up saying, "Oh, we're aware. Seriously." As then, the pink-haired girl with the glasses couldn't help but say, "So what did Bakugo hold you up about?" With then, Izuku saying, "Oh, right, I'll explain. Several hours ago, from that of the beginning of school, Izuku coming into that of Aldera Junior High, at least almost that of 10 minutes late, if he didn't, focus on trying to see that of Kamui Woods, alongside that of a few other pros like that of Def Arms and Backdraft, trying to keep civilians from getting involved in the fight, with Izuku basically couldn't help but watch the fight too, as even though in Izuku's earlier years he was affected by that of the bystander, he was a victim of the bystander effect before he awakened his quirk. It seems like he's also a victim of it too, but mainly when he sees that of pro heroes though, but not entirely when there's not a pro around. As there are a few times when Izuku does use his quirk to help those in need when a pro isn't around or he can't call the police. Luckily, his quirk basically allows him to transform and somewhat keeps his looks, hidden after all. The only thing that shows is basically somewhat of a bit of his facial features, with only that of his diamond-shaped freckles, his green eyes, and his hair. And that's it. As his facial structure basically looks the same as the unit he's transforming into. Let's just say there were a few times about that of 2 years ago where there were a spring of vigilantes dressed like that of Vanguard characters after all. But now, since Izuku has basically kept a low profile, that rumor has now died down. But back to what Izuku was seeing, as it being that of Kamui Woods fighting against a gigantification villain for basically trying to steal a purse after all. But instead of taking care of the villain sooner than later and focusing more on monologuing and looking good for the crowd, he doesn't take care of the villain as soon as possible. Because that's when another pro begins to show up, as it being a newly debuted pro heroine by the name of Mount Lady, as she basically finishes off the fight with her Canyon Cannon, which is basically a flying dropkick in that of her gigantification size. And not only that, her being that of an attention harlot after all, basically giving somewhat that of certain people that of money shots after all, which led to Izuku writing down about the newly minted Mount Lady. Then after finishing, he basically heads to Aldera, with then their homeroom teacher does the same spiel like he would in canon, about how he plans on giving everybody a career aptitude test, as he just doesn't even bother doing so, as he tosses the papers up into the air, basically telling them that why bother since everybody plans on trying to become pro heroes and joining the hero track. With everybody in the class basically just using their quirks all willy-nilly whenever they see fit after all. Except to select 2 people, that being Izuku, who's focusing more on that of his cards right now, as he's thinking about changing up a few strategies for each of his paladins to be honest, wanting to at least change up his style a bit. Now, however, another one being that of a certain familiar spiky ash and blonde Pomeranian that we all know and love, and that some of us love to hate and many of us love, Katsuki Bakugo. As of course, ever since then, Bakugo has still had that of an ego, arrogant, and basically so full of himself that he sees himself as the next #1 hero, to the point that he believes that he'll be even better and greater than All Might, with even belittling everybody in his homeroom class as well, with everybody getting upset with that of Bakugo belittling them. with even Bakugo threatening to say if they got what it takes then they can stand up against him. However, nobody does. And as for Izuku, he could really care less as he's focusing more on his cards. With their homeroom teacher basically saying that, oh right, what about you, Midoriya? You plan on applying for UA too, right? Within, soon, Bakugo couldn't help but basically stop and have that of a look of pure and utter shock, as he's still smiling in arrogance. However, everybody else in the classroom, as instead of canon where everybody would laugh, everybody couldn't help but whisper saying, I can see that happening. I mean, yeah, it's Midoriya. Besides having a pretty versatile quirk, he's also one of the best card fighters in the school. Not to mention, guy wins a lot of tournaments. Plus, he's the king of paladins. You really think a somewhat great card fighter like him wouldn't make it? Shame that the school is so damn lazy and cheap that they don't send him send the card fighting club to regionals or nationals. If he goes to UA, he'll definitely reach regionals and nationals in no time. He's already pro level. But wait, let's not forget the fact that his quirk allows him to become the very cards from Vanguard after all. I mean, you've seen the crazy stuff that those cards do in that of the image art and the flavor text of their lore from that of the anime and the card game itself. You really think that this guy won't be that of a powerhouse pro? Within, one of the students whispering quietly, not wanting to piss off Bakugo, saying, man, Bakugo's got some real competition if Midoriya plans on going to the hero course instead of the Vanguard course. However, Bakugo, on the other hand, is basically livid that somebody from even this school, especially Izuku of all people, is going to UA saying, Deku! Within, noticing where this is coming from, saying, ah shit. As then, for a split second, you could see that of gloves, and that of green gloves, with that of a red jewel in the center. Before then, soon Izuku basically presses the jewel before bringing out one of his own cards. As then, the same spell circle basically comes below that of Izuku. Before then, the crest logo symbol of the gold paladins soon appears. Before then, Bakugo tries to land that of an explosion onto Izuku and onto his desk, before then being knocked back by that of a single blow, as it was by that of Izuku, and that of golden armor, with that of A, as he has that of two swords behind him, one on his back and one on his back waist, with one sword basically already in his hands. However, he used that of the back end of the blade because it's a single edge blade. Within, Izuku still looking like that of Izuku, as he turned into that of law-abiding knight Colton, a grade 2, with then soon Bakugo seeing this saying, damn you, Deku! As looking at that of the knight. Within, Izuku speak up saying, you shouldn't be using your quirk in class to attack others, Kachan. It's basically against the rules. Within, looking at their teacher, as then, Izuku couldn't help but smirk, with his eyes closed, saying, isn't that right, sir? Shouldn't Bakugo be punished for basically attacking a student without provocation? Within, soon, their homeroom teacher saying, well, you see, Midoriya, isn't that right, sir? Within, as this is one of the aspects of Izuku's quirk. Like I said before, his personality changes, but it's still the same. But then saying, but then again, I guess it makes sense that Bakugo's able to get away with this. He is your golden goose for him to go to UA, right? Same goes for me, right? Within, soon their homeroom teacher saying, well, let's just make this a warning, Bakugo. And you, Midoriya, you should not defend myself. But then, realizing, correct, I guess we'll let this slide as well. Saying, good. Within, basically he lets go of his quirk. Within, in that of his right hand, still having those custom-made gloves. Within, pressing down on that of the button, on the red button on his left hand, as then the glove closes over his fingers. as he soon wiggles around before putting back that of Colton and that of his Golden Paladin deck. Within soon, Bakugo couldn't help but growl like that of the feral animal he is in human skin. Within the teacher basically getting back everybody's attention, saying, now, everybody, please, get back to your seats. It's time for us to start class entirely. Within, soon Bakugo couldn't help but growl after that little incident, and as the day basically comes to an end, Izuku was about to leave and head to the club room, since he is the captain of Aldera Junior High's Vanguard Club. Within soon, as Izuku puts away his deck, Within was about to bring out that of his hero notebook. Before then, he puts it back again, before putting his bag on the side, realizing, you really think you're slick, don't you, Kachan? Realizing that somebody was about to grab that of his hero notebook, as it being Bakugo, with that of his two lackeys behind him, as one of them couldn't help but feel a little bit worried, while the other one, who was quite familiar, being one of Bakugo's longtime lackeys, the one with that of the finger quirk, couldn't help but glare at that of Izuku as well. Within saying, you got some nerve, don't you, Deku? Saying, nerve? What's that? Basically not becoming your punching bag or you taking your frustrations out on me? Within saying, that is what I can't stand about you. Basically you looking down on me. How the hell am I looking down on you? Just because a few people basically give me praise, you think that I'm looking down on you? Please, I'm not you. I'm not that insecure like I used to be. I could care less what anybody thinks of me nowadays. They can say what they want when they want, even you. But I won't basically just sit back and let somebody like you attack me just so you can basically assert your authority that you believe you have. What then? Bakugo saying, you really are so damn full of yourself. And hello, Kettle, meet Pot. Within, the kid with out of the long finger quirk saying, you really think that you got some nerve to talk how you want, Midoriya? Just because you got some fancy quirk that's tied to freaking cards doesn't mean anything. Take away those cards and you're basically nothing but quirkless after all. Just like you've always have, you damn Deku. Within, soon, Izuku saying, huh? Oh, Sumioi, right? Man, all these years and you're still basically clinging on to Kachan's coattails. Don't you ever change? Within, soon, the boy could up and say, you really are. Within, Izuku saying, look, I gotta get to my club practice. I got no time to deal with you. Within, soon, as Izuku was about to walk past Bakugo, within, Bakugo grabs him by his shoulder before realizing that he's about to burn his school uniform. Before Izuku basically pushes him away, within saying, what the hell? You're trying to burn my school uniform and basically scar me, you asshole. You really think I'm just gonna let you do that? You got some damn nerve. Within, seeing this, Bakugo saying, alright, that's it, you damn nerd. You're dead. Within, soon, as before Bakugo could lunge at that of Izuku, as then, a person basically comes through the door as it being another one of the students, saying, crap, within, seeing the perfect opportunity, Izuku basically walks out as soon as he can, within basically pushing both that of Bakugo's lackeys out of the way and making sure not to hit that of the student that just came in. Within, soon, Bakugo saying, damn you, Deku, get your ass back here! Within, as Bakugo is about to rush after that of Izuku, within, a few teachers basically notice that Bakugo is going after Izuku, within realizing, alright Bakugo, just because school's letting out doesn't mean that you can still basically do what you want on school grounds. Midoriya is part of the Cardfight Club. I think it's about time that you let him do his duties. Within, Sue, saying, piss off, teacher, saying, just because you're our golden goose letting you into UA doesn't mean that we're just gonna let you do what you want. Within, soon, Bakugo couldn't help but grit his teeth in that of pure and utter anger and that of annoyance, saying, damn bastards, damn extras, getting in my way. I'm gonna show that damn Deku his place, just watch. Once I get into UA, every last one of these extras will know who's top dog. I will be number one, and I'll make sure that a pebble like him knows his place again. With as Bakugo basically declares this in his mind, Izuku, on the other hand, stops basically running before then catching his breath and then heading to the club room saying, God, I still can't believe I used to look up to him and always wanted to still be friends with him. Hell, I thought showing him my quirk, things like go back to normal like they used to. As Izuku remembers the day back when, at least that he was 10 years old, into his classroom and became Blaster Blade, with many of the kids couldn't help but be shocked and surprised, and even that of Izuku's quirk, with even some of the teachers couldn't help but think that Izuku has a great and powerful quirk too. As for Bakugo, let's just say that Izuku didn't get what he thought he was going to get. To Bakugo, Izuku was just basically another big fish, an obstacle in his way of becoming a great hero. With somebody that he used to look down upon, somebody that he used to see as basically useless and quirkless, now having power, it basically pisses him off even more than anything, and he just stand it. First time when he tried attacking Izuku when he became that Blaster Blade, let's just say it didn't work out so well. To be honest, Izuku basically tanked the attack from Bakugo. Not only that, Bakugo got a little bit punished because of the attack, and by that of his teachers and the principal. But because he has that of a powerful quirk, and that this was just, and in their eyes, it was seen as an accident, and out of jealousy, they basically let it slide. Since then, Bakugo has basically despised Izuku since then, no matter what. As for Izuku, that was one of the very last straws when Izuku basically wanted to go back to being close friends, best friends even. To Izuku, Bakugo's not an obstacle. He's a person that he wants to be equals with. But as long as Bakugo still sees himself as superior and everybody else beneath him, he's far from anything to an equal to Izuku. Not even Izuku sees him as an equal. He doesn't even look down on him. He just sees him as him. Simple as that. He only still calls him Kachan, mainly just out of habit, after all. Just like how Bakugo calls Izuku nothing but Deku. In a way, it's an insult for an insult. And now finishing recollecting to what he's telling that of his club members. As the pink-haired girl, Yurisa, couldn't help but say, man, he never changes, doesn't he? With then, soon, the guy named as Karaka couldn't help but say, still an ashen Pomeranian to the very end. Luckily, this is our final year, so we don't have to deal with him. Well, at least I don't have to deal with him. With then Nene speaking up saying, same here. But knowing that at the sports festival every year, we may have to basically deal with him though, if we want to take part in that of the, sports festival's card fights tournament. But then, soon, Yuri says saying, oh right, that is true. UA always has that of their UA Sports Festival isn't just for that of the Hero Course students or Gen Ed students to get into the Hero Course, but also for card fight students to show what they're capable of. If they basically show how strong they are, they can basically be taken in by that of branch managers all across Japan who are clan leaders, which unfortunately means that they're going to have to interact with those from that of the, Hero Course. Oh man, I'm sorry for you guys. As the glasses-wearing pink-haired girl couldn't help but bow her head. Within soon, Karakage couldn't help but scoff saying, it's only the sports festival. Outside of that, we don't have to deal with the brat. Within, Nene saying, true. The less interaction with Bakugo I have, the less I will basically get a wrinkle from the stress. Oh, speaking of, Yukumi, with then, she getting the look at that of Izuku as she has smiling, saying, as then Izuku saying, right, Nene. Within she having that of a more cheerful smile, saying, yes. Within Izuku saying, are you planning on going to UA as well? As the girl couldn't help but smirk, saying, well, of course. After all, it's the only school where I'm able to basically stand out when it comes to Vanguard. Within soon, Katakara can help but say, ugh, and yet you have one hell of a powerful ass quirk. Hell, possibly even on the same level as Bakugo. And yet you want to waste it on nothing and just be a card fighter? What? Why not just be both like how Izuku plans on to when he graduates from that of UA? But then she's saying, because I don't want all the spotlight on me. After all, Izuku is the only one that's going to be both a card fighter and a pro hero. I just want to be a clan leader. Simple as that. I don't like to be too much in the spotlight. As the girl couldn't help but flip that of her hair. Before then, soon Izuku saying, come on, Katakara, let her be. If she doesn't want to be a pro hero, no need to force it on her. Everybody's free to choose what they want. Within, soon, the spiky long-haired guy couldn't help but scoff, saying, whatever. And they're just saying it's a waste. As Yurisa basically pats that of her club member's shoulder. But then soon Izuku saying, oh, right, that reminds me. Even though I'm the club captain of the club, I still have to work and train for that of the UA entrance exam. So there will be times I probably won't be showing up. Just let you know. That's why, within, looking at that, the black-haired young man saying, Katakara, you'll be the club captain for the time being when I'm not here. Within, both girls can help but be shocked. Within, Katakara saying, wait, what? I'm the club captain? Why me? You know that just because you're always honest and a bit of a hothead doesn't mean anything. Placing a hand on that of his shoulder, within saying, you got this. But like I said, I'll still come by and take care of the club activities. Not to mention, I know the school won't let us go to that of the regionals, but they didn't say anything about us taking care of other things. Within, Nene couldn't help but basically smirk, saying, so, did they accept? I haven't told them yet, but hopefully they will. Within, soon, Yurisa speaking up, saying, what are you planning? As Izuku couldn't help but smirk, before pulling out something from that of his yellow backpack, and then showing it, saying, this year, the Generation Master event is starting this year, which means if we complete this task, we'll become Generation Masters. Within, hearing that, all of them couldn't help but say, seriously? Karikata couldn't help but say, so, are you really about to suggest that the school allows us to take on that of the Generation Quest? It's not tied to the school and it won't hurt their budget. Everything would basically be on us and us alone. The club's budget is basically small enough, but add the money that I gained from that of card shop tournaments all across Tokyo, from that of Shibuya, Shinjuku, Akihabara, Ikebukuro, and many other cities, I should be able to have enough money for us to basically travel all across the Kanto region for the tournament for that of the event. While doing so, and while the event is going on, and when we don't have to take care of any one of the event, quest, or task, I'll focus on that of my training for UA. It should be a win-win. We go off with a bang, the school gets a reputation for having Generation Masters under their school, and I still get time to train for the entrance exam, so I got nothing to worry about. But then, hearing the situation, all three members look at that of their president. But then, all of them couldn't help but smirk, saying, we're in. Within, rolling up the poster, putting it back in his bag, saying, great. So, but today, I need to focus on my training. I'll catch you guys later. Within, soon, all of them saying, good luck, Midoriya. Within, Nene saying, good luck, Izu. As Izuku couldn't help but wave back, sliding the door open, and then leaving. Within, leaving all of them all by themselves. Before then, Nene's smile went back down to that of her usual scowl, saying, I guess I'm out of here too. Within, soon, the both of them couldn't help but say, seriously? Within saying, you know I only joined this club for Izuku. If he's not going to be here, no point in me to being around you idiots. As she goes to the couch and basically grabbed that of her school bag and her phone, as she also walks out of the club room. Within, soon, Katakari saying, unbelievable. She is such a bitch. But then Yurisa couldn't help but adjust her glasses before giggling, saying, to think that we would get a pro-level card fighter, well, two of them, and one of them is in love with that of our captain. with then saying she's not really in love with him, she's more fond of him. You become undefeated ever since you're a kid, and yet the first person that defeats you is basically a cinnamon roll, and yet she fawns over him so much. I don't think she understands what the very definition of love is, as the guy couldn't help but huff. Before then, Yurisa saying, "Come on then, would you mind helping me out with my deck?" Within, soon, he couldn't help but scoff before sighing, saying, fine. We really need to fix your deck. Seriously, how do you screw up using the Bermuda Triangle deck? Still think you should switch out clans. Saying, hey, don't be mean. Saying, just saying how it is. Aptitude basically continue fixing up that of Izuku's deck. Izuku, on the other hand, is basically wondering, 10 months from now until the entrance exam. And through that of the generation quest, it lasts until that of the end of a new year. So we have to complete the quest and not fail a single task until that of next year of January. All right, let's do this. I'm not counting on you guys. As you would think that the person that Izuku is talking to is that of his club mates. But that's not the case at all. He's talking to those who are actually even closer than that of his club mates. During that of his final year at Aldera Junior High, while training his butt off using that of his quirk, which his quirk is called Vanguard. Quite on the nose, I do say so, but still. He's understand his quirk at least a lot more easier and better than he did before when he first awakened it. Turns out his quirk is all three types, from emitter, transformation, and mutant type quirk. The mutant aspect is that he can't turn it off, and that it's always on. And it's mainly tied to that of his hands as well. The transformation aspect is tied to him transforming into his cards. If he has all 5 fingers onto one Vanguard card, then he's able to transform into them. He can turn off the transformation though, but if he's still holding onto the card, he'll just switch right back. This is basically an endless feedback loop. As for the emitter function, while he's transformed, he's basically able to act like that of having that of an emitter type quirk, from that of having that of superhuman strength, speed, durability, and he can also bring out that of rear guards. For example, if he has all 5 fingers on one of his decks, then he's able to basically access the entirety of the deck without even needing to go back and forth between himself, after all. So basically, he can bring out that of other units onto outside of the deck into real life without even trying. Not only that, originally he always had to basically talk to them out loud for them to listen. But over at least that of a few months of training, he's now able to basically contact them and talk to them mentally. Unfortunately, they can't speak back. They're basically nothing but projections that are basically solid after all. However, just as I said before, when he becomes the Vanguard, on the other hand, becomes the units themselves, that's when their personality does affect Izuku. This is where the aspect of Izuku's begins to change. Over the years, you would think that it's because of these cards that his personalities changed and why he's able to stand up to Bakugo. That's not the case, actually. The real case is why he's able to stand up to Bakugo is because he has actual real support. Throughout his earlier years, throughout when he was a kid, he's always been looked down upon. But when he got into Cardfight Vanguard and gained that of a support group through that of people who taught him how to play, those he sees as his rivals and friends, and one person in particular who he's 100% close with. One person that he hasn't even met in real life, that he only meets through that of online gameplay, actually. He doesn't know her real name, but her screen name is Pony Girl, but she's mainly from that of the West after all. She's an amazing card fighter, not on pro level, but if she works hard at it, then she can be at pro level. Izuku has basically been tutoring her in 2 ways, actually. One in Cardfight Vanguard, and the other in Japanese. Also finding out that she's also half Japanese and half American, actually, which is a little tit note. But even so, she's a great player. She's really skilled at that using Pale Moon and using any form of the Pale Moon Circus deck. The only reason that she's not well known is mainly because that she's kind of a sheltered girl. Parents are a little bit overprotective, but as she gotten older, her parents starting to lighten up around her. And even not only that, she even plans on coming to Japan, mainly because she wants to become a pro hero, just like Izuku. However, since the curriculum in America and Japan are two completely different, she's currently being homeschooled by that of her family and getting that of updated on that of the curriculum when she goes into high school after all. Izuku wanted to ask on what high school she's going to, but she wants to keep it a surprise, which Izuku can understand and be fair of. Since then, the two of them have basically been inseparable. They've been friends online ever since, and because of that, Izuku kind of told her everything about that of his, growing up and with his quirk. Normally, Vanguard is also a good way to get out your grievances as well. And given that Japan doesn't really do well with mental health, just basically venting it out on the internet with a complete and total stranger seems way much better. It's so much better if you think about it. Since then, Pony Girl has kind of been Izuku's emotional support and rock after all, alongside that of his mom and a few of his mentors in card fighting. With that of their support, he was able to become a lot more confident in himself and still always admired and stand up for himself, especially against Bakugo. He still believes Bakugo would be a great hero, but he knows that Bakugo is not a great person or a human being in general. It's one of the reasons on why he wanted to make sure that all those who basically want Izuku to go to the police and basically talk about that of Bakugo's actions, but instead deciding to just let things be. Because once he goes into UA and finds out the truth that he's not the strongest anymore, that he needs to work at becoming the strongest again, that's when he'll basically told him so. After that, it's up to Bakugo for what he wants to do afterwards. Still be the same or change his outlook. But putting Bakugo aside, as for that of the Generation Quest event that Izuku and his club have been going through, it's been going pretty well. From many of the quests had to revolve around that of special types of strategies, using that of unique cards, trivia on that of card fights and clans themselves, alongside that of their united faction, and even having to, do that of quizzes on that of the very anime itself of Cardfight Vanguard, with each quest and each task being harder and harder than the last. But even so, they were still able to make it out on top. As for Izuku's training and that of his quirk, it's also improving quite a bit. Mainly, he needs to work more on that of his stamina. The more stamina he has, the longer he can stay in his forms. The only problem is one little aspect that he can't change no matter what he does. And that being, he still can't generation stride, which means he still can't become grade 4s. It takes too much strain on his body, and every time when he does, he doesn't go back to being grade 3, he goes back to being Izuku. If he can grow his stamina, or at least become somewhat tolerable to that of the strain, then he can probably go back to being grade 4, and then go back to being that of grade 3, which means he can probably generation stride once again, making things a lot more easier for him when fighting against villains. But he's also a little bit worried though, too. Think about it. Cardfight Vanguard is somewhat crazy, especially given the units from the planet Cray. If anybody have seen the anime and even the flavor text of the lore of those cards as well, then some of them know that some cards and some units are basically on the level of planet busters to basically solar system busters. And it mainly ranges in that of grade 3s to grade 4s. Because of this, Izuku really needs to make sure to hold everything back that he can to basically destroy all of Japan or even half the planet. Proving that Izuku's quirk is somewhere on the same level as that theory about the quirk doomsday theory. Luckily, nobody hasn't put two and two together, besides the select few who don't really care that much about it. And let's hope it stays that way, as Izuku's training comes to an end, and they're coming up on that of the last day for the event of the Generation Quest, being that of a one-on-one tournament, as over 100 participants all across Japan took part in that of the Generation Quest. And only one team remains, and that being Izuku's Vanguard Club, as the final task takes place in that of the Tokyo Dome in Japan, that has been remodeled for that of the card fight. And due to the evolution of quirks and hologram technology has become a thing, they can now basically actually use that of holograms to show off that of their Vanguard, show off their cards for the crowd to see, instead of using a camera to basically zoom in on the action on jumbo screens. With then the crowd going wild, with even the announcer basically hyping up the crowd even more. With then soon Izuku basically standing in front of an entranceway heading outside to the arena, where all spotlights are basically out there and multicolored. But then Izuku saying, "Won't be lying, I am a little nervous. I mean, I've been in tournaments all the time, but it's always card tournaments. Nothing this big." With then, soon, Katakura saying, "Hey, you're our best card fighter. It's only natural that you be the one to take care of this." Yurisha basically saying, "Yeah, you got this, Midoriya. We believe in you." With then, Izuku saying, "Thanks, guys." Before then, without warning, Nene basically kisses Izuku on the cheek, as Izuku couldn't help but blush entirely, as his face basically glows nuclear red, saying, "What are you?" As she's saying, "For good luck, go out there, my king." But then, soon, Izuku couldn't help but think, "I think you just made it worse," but soon, trying to take multiple deep breaths, then saying, "I'll do it. I can do this. I'll give it my all." With then, soon, the announcer saying, "Please, will our opponents come out? First up is that of the challenger, the one who has led his team cross that of the entirety of the Generation Quest. If he wins this match, he and his team will become that of Generation Masters." There are only 20 Generation Masters all across Japan. We have an extra 4. Here he is, the King of Paladins, one who has made a name for himself all across Tokyo. We've even heard him all across the Kanto region as well. Here he is, Izuku Midoriya! As the crowd goes wild for Izuku, as he has that of a serious look, but he's determined to win. And his opponent, one who's standing at the top of the Vanguard Yard for so long, even before it became popular. He is synonymous with that of the highest ranking. He has become the greatest of them all. The former Japanese champion and former leader of Japan's Vanguard world team. You all know him. You all love him. Here he is, Shinji Hamura! As the crowd goes wild as well, as then it being that of a somewhat familiar face, as he has that of spiky black hair. However, he's also wearing that of a custom-made black jacket, as it has that of multiple glowing lines going down that of the arms and out of the jacket sleeve and out of the jacket sides as well, with on the very back being that of a neon color, switching color that says Vanguard. As then you get a better look at his face, as he has a bit of a beard stubble. Within, he also looks way even more familiar. Within realizing this is the same man that was the card shop owner where Izuku always goes. The same one that found out about his card. But then saying, "Mr. Homura." But then soon saying, "Little Midoriya, to think that you would come this far." Honestly, they kind of asked me to come out of retirement to do this little event, to be honest. And to be fair, I kind of need the money for the shop. But then saying, "I kind of figured that." and saying, so, I hope you're ready. Even though I am fond and proud on seeing how far you've come, I don't plan on holding anything back. You're facing against somebody who is basically a world-level card fighter. I hope you know on what you're getting yourself into. Within, soon, Izuku couldn't help but have that of a serious look saying, I'm aware. That's why I won't hold anything back either. My friends, my teammates, they're counting on me. That's why I'll give it my all. Within, he couldn't help but smirk saying, that's the kind of spirit I want to see from a king. Also, this may be a good way to come off from, since next week you have the UA entrance exam, am I right? But then Izuku saying, you've heard that, you found out, didn't you? But then he couldn't help but scoff saying, I have a few of customers planning on taking on the exam. And I kind of figured since you are too, as the two basically are shuffling their decks, getting ready to battle, as they place it out of the deck zone, within saying, that's why, when I win, I want to be a generation master. I want to go into UA knowing that I have accomplished something at the very age of junior high school. I plan on being a pro. I plan on being a hero that saves people, that protects them, with a smile on my face just like All Might. Is that so? Well then, I hope you're ready. Because to be a hero, you need to live up to the expectations that people have for you. Within saying, maybe. But sometimes, you can subvert those expectations and be yourself. Within, couldn't help, as Homura couldn't help but smirk, before then saying, that's what I like to hear. As they have their cards at the Vanguard spot saying, now stand up, my Vanguard! As the card fight is about to begin, wondering who will win. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please tell me in the comments below. Love to read them and see what you guys have to say. So, how did you guys like this? This is mainly just a way to basically speed along that of Izuku's training arc after all, and basically bring up the fact about certain things that happen. I think a lot of people keep forgetting that a lot of people's personalities change due to their quirks. Toga is literally a prime example of that. However, Izuku's change when he uses his quirk is basically temporary. The reason that he changes and has become a lot more confident is because of the people around him. I think, again, a lot of people forget that Izuku's personality and his entire outlook on life changes with that of the people around him. It's because of his experiences around people who have experienced the darkness of hero society that he's able to realize and wants to change it in his own way. The same thing also goes with Vanguard as well. He's able to change his whole personality and outlook is because he had supportive people looking out for him in the other way. When you have somebody like that of Bakugo and everybody else basically putting you down constantly, or even trying and constantly beating you as well, then yeah, it really does fuck with your self-esteem and your own self-worth after all. This Izuku actually still has that of self-worth issues. However, it's basically bogged down with that of him living up to the expectations of Vanguard after all. Plus, let's also bring in the fact that I basically have made a monster with this Izuku after all, that can give my three most current strongest Dekus, basically Shonen Jump Deku, Overlord Deku, and even that of Heroic Spirit Summoning Deku. So yeah, any rate, once again, I'm telling you guys this now, I won't be going into too much details when it comes to the card fights after all. As much as I want to, and I really do want to, it would take too much time, and I would have to look up too many strategies and tactics for that of the what ifs after all. So next part, I'll basically be skimming over that of the fight between that of Izuku and Homura after all, because in the next part, we'll be going straight into that of the hero entrance exam. So yeah, any rate, if you guys like this, please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification, get to date my videos uploaded to the channel. Also, please check out my Discord, gaming channel, side channel, other channel, Patreon, and Cash App. All link in the description below. So, with all that said, this is Leon Mookie, signing out. Later, guys, and hope you all take care. You know what to do, my beloved Shiro.
Hi everyone, this is White Fox. If you liked Leon's video, click the video on the left to see the most recent one. And if you want to see more of this, click the subscribe button and notification bell and check out his playlists. If you still haven't subscribed, do so in the center. With that said, I hope to see you again on my love's channel. Bye!